How's everyone doing today? Mike here. So I've got a great video for you guys. Today's video is going to be about the deer mushroom, specifically Pluteus cervinus. This is an edible mushroom, and I'm going to tell you guys where you can find it, when you can find it, how to ID it, and a whole lot more. Let's go. All right, everyone. So this is the deer mushroom, the Pluteus cervinus. Now let's take a good look at this mushroom, and I'm actually going to show you exactly where this thing is growing right now. It's full environment. You can see here's a nice little creek there, creek bottom area. And then this is a decaying log, a very well decomposed log. Smooth cap, kind of brown, grayish. I'm breaking it off, picking it, flipping it over, checking out the underside, and we will notice that the gills are not attached to the stem. There's like a little racetrack looking structure around the stem, and you will see these gills are nice and soft, and you can easily move them with your finger like that. They're kind of white in the beginning. They will start to turn pinkish to salmon color as it ages, and I will have pictures of that in a little bit here, but just notice how we've got a nice smooth cap there, kind of like I said, brown, gray, very soft, delicate mushroom. Okay, cool. So everyone, that was a prime specimen of a Pluteus mushroom, or a deer mushroom, just so everyone knows. And I want to talk first about the time of year that you can potentially find the Pluteus mushroom. And I just want to say it has an extremely wide temperature range as far as fruiting conditions are concerned. You could find this mushroom spring through fall, even like through winter sometimes, depending on how mild your winters are. But basically, anytime you want to go take a walk in the forest, take a look around at very well decomposed logs, and you might find this cap and stem mushroom known as the Pluteus, or the deer mushroom. So, like I said, spring through fall, almost any time of the year, you can potentially find this. Now, let's talk about some of those key identifying features, and then we'll go over a few photos again and talk about some of those key features just so you can see them clearly and we can talk about them. But like I said, it kind of had that smooth cap for the most part. Some of them have that little umbo or nipple in the top. You know, it's just like a little raised area sometimes. And they're kind of brown or grayish, the color, kind of like a deer or a fawn. That's why they have the name, because the color kind of resembles it. And it also gets the name the deer shield or the fawn shield, because it's kind of like round, like a shield would be, you know, like holding up a shield. So anyway, that's why it has all these names. Now, another thing about the structure, like when you notice when I picked it, okay, and I flipped it over and I was holding it in my hand, there was nothing on the stem. There was no like veil or a partial veil or nothing like that, okay? The stem was pretty much bare, and there was the gills. The next feature you want to look at is the gills. The gills were not attached to the stem. If you look close in that video, you'll see that there was like a little racetrack looking structure that just goes around the stem, and the gills are not attached. And like I said, that was like a prime specimen if you do want to eat it. And they're kind of young, and when they're young like that, the gills are kind of white. They might be slightly pink, and the older they get, they will turn more salmon. And that is because another one of the key identifying features is the color of spores these mushrooms have. These mushrooms actually have a brown to salmon colored spore print, okay? So that's the colored spores they have. Now, I've actually done spore prints of this mushroom, and I will show you what the spore print of this mushroom looks like. Okay, so let's look at some of photos now of some of these key identifying features. All right, everyone, so let's talk about some of those key identifying features of the Pluteus mushroom. So you can see I've got it on a log right now. I just picked these mushrooms from that well-decomposed log there and just flipped it over to see the bottom side. Now let's talk about the gills. The gills are not attached to the stem on these mushrooms. Remember, it's got that racetrack looking structure going around the stem. The stem is bare and smooth, and the gills are closely spaced and kind of soft, smooth, and the whole mushroom and mushroom cap is kind of brittle. Now, I've got these mushrooms that I brought inside here. I was getting ready to spore print these and getting ready to eat some of these too, actually. So I'll show a few photos of that. Let's take a look at the top side. I have got them laid out on a piece of paper here doing the spore print. And you can see the tops on these. They're kind of brown, grayish. Some of them have that little nipple in the middle. And some of them are broken because they are brittle. Now let's look at these spore prints. kind of brown to salmon colored. You can see the nice little artistic patterns these spore prints make. They're fun to do if you've never done one. You just lay it on a piece of paper overnight, really. You can cover them up with a bowl too if you want to. But you can see the color spores, like I said, brown to salmon to pinkish colored on these. And here we go. We have them cooking up in the pan. I had a little, I think I did this in butter and olive oil or something like that. But these have an interesting flavor. It's kind of like a nutty, almost like interesting vinegary type of flavor. All right, everyone. So those were some of the key identifying features of the Pluteus mushroom. Like I said, the gills are not attached to the stem. That's a big one. It just has that like racetrack looking structure around on the stem there. And the stem is bare. All right. And you'll find them growing on decomposing logs. And the top side is pretty much smooth, and you might see a little raised bump in the middle. Now, if you do find one growing out of the ground, there may be a buried log there, so kind of look and see if there's like wood debris there. Just I will show you that first video again so you can see that one growing out of that well decomposed log. And I will actually show you another clip of kind of an older specimen of a Pluteus, so you know kind of when they're reaching the end of their life, you know, and it would still be edible if you wanted to eat it, but these don't have a very long shelf life, just so everyone knows. Like, if you decide to pick a Pluteus mushroom and eat it, you almost need to eat it like as soon as you get home or within like the next day or two for sure, because the gills are just so delicate, the caps are so delicate and brittle that they'll just kind of like fall apart. And like, I feel like as far as cooking methods, I did a saute, and I will just say like, you pretty much want to kind of think about that because they might just turn into mush otherwise if you're cooking them in something like a soup or something slow like that, you know? So I pretty much always want to do like a saute or like maybe a fry of some kind with a Pluteus if you're going to cook a Pluteus mushroom. Interesting flavor, like nutty type of vinegary, peanutty flavor. That's how I describe it. So if you want to give the Pluteus a shot, like I said, it is an edible mushroom, so you can give it a shot. But if you're unsure of something, never eat anything you're unsure of. Always be sure of it or verify it with an expert, you know? But I feel like the Pluteus mushroom is a good one for a beginner to learn on. It was one of the first mushrooms I learned to identify. And it was actually, I believe that was the first mushroom I ever spore printed, and I just had some photos of it. So I felt like it was great to share, especially for someone just getting into foraging or trying to learn some of these key identifying features of these mushrooms. Spore prints are great to do. Now, let's look at the prime specimen on the log again compared to an older specimen. And I just want to show everyone different fruiting environments too, and just because that one was growing on a log, this other one I have right by a stump here. But let's take a look at these. Okay, everyone, so here is that prime specimen of the Pluteus mushroom that we showed earlier. And let's just take a look at this thing again, just so you guys can see a prime specimen compared to an aged specimen. And you can just see the environment again, kind of creek bottom area on a very well decomposed log. Smooth kind of cap, brownish to gray. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the mushroom here. We're going to check out that bottom side. And like I said, the gills are nice and soft when you will kind of touch them and feel the mushroom. These mushrooms are super brittle. And you can kind of see this one, like I said, it was younger. So the gills are white, but you can see it's got a little tinge to it. There's like a little pink kind of in there. You can see starting to want to come out. And on this next clip I show you of this older specimen, you'll totally see how it's got more color to it. And this next clip, it's actually a little more dried out too. Like I said, that's a prime specimen right there. Okay, so here's the next clip. This one's a little more aged, a little more dried out, and like I said, it's fruiting right next to that very well decomposed log there, or that stump, I should say. And you can see gills are definitely darker in color, more salmon-like. This one's more dried out. I wouldn't really want to eat this one. I mean, I guess you could if you really, really wanted to, but I wouldn't. But that's what an older Pluteus mushroom looks like right there. All right, everyone, so there was the deer mushroom, or the Pluteus. So I hope you guys all found that video helpful and informative, and if you did, please drop this video a like. And if you have any questions for me, or if you've ever found the Pluteus mushroom yourself and you just want to talk about your experience foraging and maybe eating this mushroom. Kind of tell me about your experience with the Pluteus mushroom in the comment section below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, everyone, and you want to see more mushroom videos like this in the future, click that subscribe button right now so you get more videos like this. But that's all I got for you on this one, and I will catch you guys on the next one.